All right, so today's video, we are back with more TikTok reacts. Always a good time, always enjoyable. Remember, if you want to submit some TikTok reacts on my Discord, that's a helpful spot to be able to submit them. So first of all, starting off with Neandra, who they have, I will say, Neandra does great TikToks. If you haven't followed Neandra's TikTok, definitely worth it. They have some awesome ones. We have another one here that says, new useless Overwatch facts. Let's see.
Mercy initially had a different voice actor.
I'll send you my consultation fee.
I'll send you my consultation fee.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your pain?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your pain?
Oh, wow, you can definitely tell the difference.
You can find OWO detergent in the laundry room. Venture has shield generator voice lines.
Call me crazy, but I think they have a shield generator. Consider their shields ungenerated.
On Dorado.
Wait, that's interesting. There's a shield generator one? Is there, like, plans to bring back shield gen one day in some form? Because that's random. Why would they even record that as a voice line? I wonder. I'm just like, is there, like, some world where they bring that back? I just say that because why would you record that voice line to begin with? I'm just curious in that one.
Dorado, you can find these two hats which can be meleeed into the sky. Sombra was initially prototyped as a support hero. She could hack multiple targets, but hack would reduce healing and damage output instead of blocking abilities. Echo's stealth skin was recently given a new spawn voice line.
I am always ready to execute.
Oh, that's cool.
Stick of Tracer's Pulse Bomb does 5 damage.
Yep,
also,
it does.
Torben Time is one of the streamer mode names. Venture has a voice line specifically with Anna's Bastet skin.
That's a mask of Bastet. Judging by the brushwork, I guess it's over 3,000 years old.
Oh, they're so smart.
And you're wearing it into battle?
Is there a problem?
Anna, I am so jealous.
On Route 66, defenders spawn in a propane shop, which is a reference to King of the Hill. On Hanaoka, you could find this reference to Naruto.
Oh, that's cool. These videos are super fun because it's stuff that you don't really look at. Good to see that. Yeah, that was really cool. I love learning some of these. That's why I've always enjoyed. That's why I say Neandra. They have some awesome TikTok. So definitely follow their TikTok. This is from Jeffy JA, if I'm correct. Yeah, Jeffy JA says make Overwatch 4v4. Huh.
I am so glad that Blizzard removed the off-tank role, because now I get to really play tank by absorbing every single cooldown and speck of damage the enemy team aims in my direction. Plus, who could forget how amazing counter-swapping is? I love picking my favorite tank, only for the enemy to instantly force me off by swapping to my...
You know what's funny? I'm not even worried about what's being said right now. I'm just watching a Winston try to chase a Kiriko around the map. That to me is more of what I'm used to. Hey, you're taking a bunch of damage as a tank, you're doing this. I'm just watching a Winston try to kill a Kiriko, and it's been 20 seconds.
My counter.
It's great.
That's so much fun. And now that there's only one tank to absorb everything, supports have been gigabuffed to keep them alive. Everyone thought Ononade was annoying to play against. Well, guess what? Every DPS has that ability now. And don't even get me started on Zenyatta. This core orb permanently removes 25% of my HP. And the DPS passive removes 50%.
I do have one thing to say about this one very quickly, though. What I will say, I feel like Discord Orb has a lot more counterplay now. The amount of times I just will stand still to get Discord Orb on me and then just go hide behind a wall for a couple, just for the seconds. The counterplay on Discord Orb is way easier now. I'm not saying I like playing against the Zenyatta. Yeah, I was gonna say, because you can, once you line of sight it, they can't put it on you for what, is it 7 seconds or something like that?
15% of my health. My health pool as a tank is permanently reduced to almost half. And now that there's only one tank, there will always be one that is better than the rest. So good luck climbing if your tank isn't one of the best few in the forced meta of the season. No wonder the tank queues are instant. That's it. I give up. I'm a support player now. Maybe things will be better next season, but that's what I've been telling myself for 9.
I mean, listen. They're going to have a great time on support because you know what they're going to realize on support? They're tankier than tanks. But still, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, tanks do absorb a lot of cooldowns, don't they? Nobody tell me about the instant tank queues. Well, top 500 tank queues where I'm at aren't instant just because, that's a whole different story. We're not going to go down that. Chat knows why. We talk about the top 500 leaderboard all the time. But, yeah, tank queues, the reason why tank queues are instant is because it's the least played of the roles. So the reason why you get an instant tank queue is because there isn't many people queuing tank. Sometimes people be like, oh, but look at the queue times of this role is so long and all this. And I'm like, yeah, it's because that role is the most popular one. And the one that gets the quick queues a lot of time is the one that actually is the least popular of the roles. So, okay, this is from Yo Noah, and they say that the tank buffs seem to be more like nerfs to me. Okay, I'm interested to hear the point on this one because I can see where there's an argument on the armor side of it. So I'm curious. So before this even goes here, the one thing that's happening that I think it was overlooked slightly is that tanks against the other tanks used to be able to, at least that's where you could kind of have like that ult charge build and kind of have like that battle and like do all of that stuff, right? But the problem is that tanks now do 25% less damage also on headshot damage, so they're losing a bit of value on that poke there. So I'm curious to see where this video goes.
Is it just me, or are tanks not tanking after the tank buffs that were supposed to make them feel more tanky? Maybe it's because I haven't been playing the characters that these changes were supposed to target, like Tracer, Reaper, or Sombra, but tanks honestly just feel much easier to kill now. At least armor tanks like Reinhardt and Ramatra. The only thing these changes have made me confident in is that I am not confident that they can fix tank in Overwatch 2. I just saw an Aaron Keller tweet saying, how do tanks feel after the new patch? Como se dice, the exact fucking same, if not worse. Like, I'm sorry, but bro, at this point, what are we doing? Like, our best solution is to give armor tanks a compensation buff.
I'm gonna pause for 1 second. I will say, and this has been my take so far, and this is kind of what I've been consistent with this for a few days. This could change in a couple weeks. Tanks are tankier now, but it's what you can do with that tankiness that is the real question. It feels like that I have more survivability now when I'm playing in games, right? Like I have more survivability, but the problem that I run into is what I can do with that. And I'm starting to see the same default, like everybody goes roadhog, everybody goes Mauga. Like you're going these tanks that were already the tanks to go to because of the tankiness, because you can't do as much with it. Also, I do think that a lot of players now that after the midseason patch are starting to play more aggressive again, and it's easier to get the tanks because a lot of tanks are just going in and just hard feeding, including myself. That's why it could also feel like that at times too. I do think tanks are a little bit tankier, but it's like what you do with that extra tankiness is the next problem. When you have heroes like Sojourn dominating, when you have, you know, Cassidy at mid-range, and you have all these heroes, like sometimes you still can't get to them, and it runs into the same issue.
Buff and nerf simultaneously? Like, I don't know, maybe if you're a tank player, you're noticing a big difference or something, but for me, I've just been cutting through tanks like a hot knife through butter as Cassidy. The real winner from all of these changes might actually just be Roadhog. Less headshot damage on him? Are you kidding me? And I'll say it, I don't care. He was already very good before these changes, and now because he doesn't have any armor, he just actually is straight up harder to kill. Every character deserves to be viable. Everyone should be able to be... I actually don't care. I really don't. Nerf him to the ground and back, please.
Yeah, I mean, Roadhog is... It's been something that's been talked about for a while, is that Roadhog was going to be overtuned to begin with as a ladder hero. I'm not going to talk about like OWCS, things like that, because like that's a little bit different. But yeah, Roadhog's become a really, 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 really strong ladder hero. And then the hero that was good against Hog, which was Orisa, got nerfed, which Orisa needed to be nerfed. But this is why for a long time we were all saying, like, the moment that they nerf Orisa, which needed to happen, if they don't touch any of Roadhog's kit at the time or like change anything with that, Roadhog will become the go-to tank when things aren't going well. And when your teammates aren't playing perfect, a lot of people are just going Roadhog now. And you get 10 times more value on Hog. Like, the value you can create with Hog is you just have to do a lot less than what you would do on a lot of the other tanks, because the other tanks have to go through like these battles just to be able to get set up in a position. So like I can see the Hog side of things. I mean, that's been something that was going to be very apparent from the get-go, because they've constantly buffed Hog without doing that stuff. All right, next we have Tasty Meat Chunks, TTV. They say, tank needs ult charge off mitigation. Have I done this one before? Either way, I will say I disagree, but let me see.
Don't know how to balance tanks in 5v5. They don't know how to make tanks for 5v5. The only time there's ever been a tank with a healthy relationship with 5v5, it's been Sigma. But if I'm just some shitter who's getting into Overwatch for the first time, I can pick any role, and the visual and psychological feedback of that role will be better than playing tank. Because if I'm terrible at the game and I'm a heal botting support player, playing some crazy pick for heal botting, like maybe a Mercy, I still get my ultimate. I gotta feel like I'm doing something, and healing feels like a very easy thing to understand.
I think I haven't seen this one yet.
I don't think we need to talk about why DPS feels impactful.
I think we saw something like this, but something different.
And the game makes killing things good. But if I'm playing tank, there isn't that same kind of feedback. This is why stuff like ult charge off mitigation needs to at least be tested for a bit. Because people drastically underplay the psychological benefits of the feedback in ult charge that these characters get. If I sit there in a fight and all I can do is hold up shield to avoid being bursted down, character designs are not stuff like Zarya or Doomfist. Punish the enemy team for focusing you. Even to an extent, characters like Sigma. There's no benefit for me taking this damage, which means there's no incentive for me to take this damage. And when
I mean, I think, like, even though I've kind of like talked about this before, is like, I don't think they should do this with damage mitigation, but the one good point they bring up is like, they get at least, and you know what, the thing is, we never know if they test this stuff. I mean, not wrong in the sense that you could just test it, see how it goes. I don't think it would go well because I think it runs into the issue of like, how much L charge would you give damage mitigation? What happens if you play heroes that are just not damage mitigation reliant heroes? What's going to happen at that point too, right? Do you see what I'm saying? How there's like different variations where like, it's the same reason why like they haven't added like the option to have individual, like you get like better SR or lose SR based off of individual performance because each hero plays differently and they have to go through each one and dictate for each hero what will dictate what is good for them or like what played well. So I just don't think like adding damage mitigation L charge will help with a lot of stuff because then you're just going to end up with the play style could be very difficult. And a lot of players will just default to just shield bot and like you said, and I just don't think that would go well. I don't know. It's hard to say because I've never played it, but I'm not a fan of it, to say the least. Like, to where you would add that to ult charge. And I don't think that would solve, like, any tank issues by just giving them ults for mitigation. But testing it, hey, why not?
To do the right thing, I get nothing out of it. Except for getting called bad words by my teammates. Because tanks need a positive feedback loop for doing their job. And currently, that feedback loop is, I did my job for one team fight, now the entire enemy team has counterpicked me, and I must either swap and lose my ult, or die trying.
Now, just to kind of like stop that for 1 second on that though, I will say the feedback loop can feel difficult for tanks. That part I can agree with, right? Whether or not I agree with like adding ult charge to damage mitigation, I'd say the thing is like even if you give ult charge for damage mitigation, I still don't think it gives the best feedback loop on that because it's an overall tank issue at that point, right? So like you would just have your ultimate more, but then like you would still run into very similar issues that tanks run into. There's some cool points in there, but I don't think ult charge damage mitigation would lead to like good results for the stuff. This one is from Overwatch 2 videos. That's quite the name. This one said, he's so mad. That's it. He's just so mad.
POV, you play tank.
Oh, cool.
I mean, yeah, that's tank. I just love their reaction. Listen, I want to listen to this reaction one more time. Oh, cool.
You play tank.
Get ready.
Oh, cool.
That's it. You know you're at the point in tank now when the reaction is just like, yep, all right. Like chat will watch me get one shot now, and like years ago my reaction was like, what the heck? Now it's just like, yeah, that was, yep. All right. 2 tanks for every map in Season 10 of Overwatch 2 from Cager_OW. I kind of like the idea of that. Let's see.
Tanks for every map in Season 10 with a wild card. New Junk City, Orisa Ram, wildcard Jonker Queen, Suravasa.
I'm going to pause on each one here and say if I disagree or agree.
New Junk City, Orisa Ram, wildcard Jonker Queen.
Pause in. Remove Orisa from this because of the new changes. Remove Orisa from this. Add Roadhog and Mauga. And you could use Orisa, but I think Roadhog or Mauga. But yeah, not bad. I like Queen. Queen, the wild card. I like Queen in this map. I think Queen can play really well, except on like a couple of the points.
Suravasa, Orisa Ram, wildcard Jonker Queen.
Same thing for that, by the way. I don't even have to go back.
Circuit Royale, Sigma Ram, wildcard Winston.
Yes, this is fine.
Dorado, wildcard Winston.
I have one more wild card now. One more wild card. Reinhardt on 2nd and 3rd now with the new changes. But yeah, this is fine. I like these. I like this.
Dorado, Winston Diva, wildcard Doomfist.
This is fine. Yep, I agree. Very mobile-based map. That's why you do that.
Havana, Sigma Bull, wildcard Ramatra.
I would switch these two. I'd put Wrecking Ball in wildcard and Ramatra in the above part. But these are both fine. I've seen Wrecking Balls get value in Havana, but I think it's more wildcard.
Junkertown, Sigma Bull, wildcard Doomfist.
I'm fine with that. I would add Roadhog as a wildcard now too.
Rialto, Ramatra Winston, wildcard Bull.
Sigma. Add Sigma to this list. Sigma is good on certain situations.
Route 66, Orisa Sigma, wildcard Zarya.
I just paused to give myself... I like Diva on this map too. Diva for 1st and 2nd.
Shambali, Orisa Sigma, wildcard Ramatra.
By the way, all the Orisa you're hearing, this is when Orisa was meta, so like this is shifted a little bit. This is why these videos can like shift really fast. I don't like Orisa on this map anymore. Ramatra, I would move up to the top left where Orisa's at, and then for wildcard... Ooh, this is a tough wildcard map. Reinhardt now, with the Rein buffs.
Watch points, Winston Doomfist, wildcard Reinhardt.
Winston, I would say Winston, Diva, and then move Doomfist in the wildcard with Rein. And then Hog. Hog actually has always been good in Watch Point, even when Hog isn't good.
Blizzard World, Winston Orisa, wildcard Sigma.
No, Sigma's not a wildcard in this map. Sigma up here. Orisa, just take Orisa off because Orisa got nerfed recently. Sigma would be up here. And then for wildcard, but these aren't bad choices. Just Sigma's, this is a mainstay map for Sigma. Diva for wildcard.
Iconwall,
and Ramatra.
Orisa Winston, wildcard Ramatra.
Take Orisa out of there. Winston for sure. I'd say Sigma, Ramatra wildcard, Diva wildcard.
Hollywood, Winston Diva, wildcard Sigma.
I'm actually okay with this.
Kings Row, Orisa Ram, wildcard Doomfist.
Wildcard, no. Take Orisa out of here now. Doomfist can be a wildcard in this map. I'm fine with that. Ramatra, Sigma, Rein, I think could be really good up here. Diva can be under wildcard, but for certain points. And then even Zarya can be wildcard. Honestly, Kings Row, you can play a lot of different heroes. Kings Row, I think it's really difficult to figure out. You can just play pretty much any of the tanks.
Midtown, Orisa Sigma, wildcard Winston.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Numbani, Winston Doomfist, wildcard Orisa.
No, Winston Diva, Doomfist can be up here. Wildcard would be Hog or Sigma.
Paraíso, Winston Diva, wildcard Bull.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Antarctic Peninsula, Orisa Ram, wildcard Junker Queen.
You know what my wildcard for this map is? I suck at this map. Doesn't matter what hero I play.
In Basan, Orisa Sigma, wildcard Diva.
Ramatra instead of Orisa for now.
Ilios, Orisa Winston, wildcard Roadhog.
Minus the Orisa per usual. Queen. I think Queen's a wild card in this map. I've seen more Hog on Ilios now. Put Hog up the top left next to Winston and put Queen down here. I think Queen in this map actually gets a lot of value, believe it or not.
Lijiang, Orisa Ram, wildcard Reinhardt.
Well, this is during the Orisa meta. This is why Orisa needed to eventually be nerfed. Lijiang, believe it or not, you want me to give you 2 wild cards in this one? Wrecking Ball and Doomfist. I think are both good in this one.
Nepal, Orisa Ram, wildcard Zarya.
I wouldn't put Zarya in wildcard. I'd put Ramatra, Sigma, and then wildcard. You know what? I'll give you Zarya. You can play Zarya on the map.
Oasis, Orisa Sigma, wildcard Bull.
Going back to that map very quickly.
Wildcard Bull, Samoa, Orisa
Ram. For Oasis, I think Diva's actually a wildcard on that map too.
Wildcard Junker Queen.
I like Queen in this map. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Colosseo, Orisa Ram, wildcard Sigma.
Ball's good in that map too.
Esperanza, Orisa Winston, wildcard Doomfist.
Ball can be good. Diva can be okay. Sigma can be okay.
And New Queen Street, Orisa Winston, wildcard Bull.
Yeah, that's fine.
If this video was helpful, do be sure to follow to stay tuned for my Season 10 tier lists, and if you want to know why I chose the heroes that I did, feel free to ask me in the comments and I'll give you a more detailed explanation. Anyways,
it wasn't bad. I like the concept of that too. It wasn't bad. It's just like it's also a little bit outdated because Orisa got nerfed, right? So that's why you just saw Orisa the whole time. Orisa was just outdated at that point. But it's a good video. It's a good idea. All right, now we're on to the last TikTok react from Javofo. This Rein is good if you know how to use him. All right, let's see.
Streamers like Flats keep talking about how Reinhardt isn't good. Seriously? How often do you see him actually using Rein tech, like spinning? Spinning has so many different uses, like getting the high ground, giving your teammates some air, as well as sick plays like this.
Big slam! Yeah, I agree. I've been telling Flats that for weeks, that if you do things like this as Reinhardt, you should be fine. So I think, you know, if streamers especially can start to play Rein like that, I think you're in a good spot. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think this is a good take.